the playoff picture, super regions, we've explained that previously, but that's how the playoff teams are determined. Of course, this year, new things are there's an expanded field, there are automatic bids, and also when it comes to HBCUs, the CIAA and SIC, who were once under one umbrella, are now in separate regions. So let's start with Super Region 1. We've got 3 teams that are still technically in the running. You've got VUU, obviously in the CIAA championship game against Johnson C. Smith. I believe these guys are 2 and 3, if I'm not mistaken, so they're right underneath each other. I guess maybe you think both of them will get a chance to go, but Fayetteville State, they finished 6 and 4 after they got to come back win against Winston-Salem State. So 6 and 4. They are, I believe, currently in 8th, but Chris, that probably isn't very solid. Maybe they need to call Delta State. But let me. What are your thoughts, Chris?
Well, so looking at this list, right? I mean, you got Kutztown, who's a 1 seed. I mean, they play in the PSAC championship game. If they win that game, they'll be the only undefeated team in the region, so they're going to get the 1 seed. But the 1 seed doesn't have as much of the allure as it has had in the past because it doesn't get a first round bye. You just get home field advantage through the super regions if you make it that far. So then you got VUU, JCSU, Indiana, who Kutztown plays, Cal, Frostburg out of the Mountain East. And Frostburg is still at risk. If they lose and Charleston wins, who's sitting at 10, then Charleston will take the auto bid, and that will most likely knock Frostburg out. Assumption at 7 in Fayetteville State. And let's talk a little bit about Assumption because as a 7, they actually lost their game against Bentley. And that actually put Assumption now to get in as an at-large because Bentley has the auto bid. So Bentley is not on the page, which means that if Bentley gets in, they're going to get in as an 8 seed. The question is Assumption strong enough at 7 and 2 to keep the 7, and that means Fayetteville State gets bumped out.
You would assume.
So you would assume, right? So that's a big question mark there on whether FSU makes it or not. So yeah. Now when I look at this, right, as it sits right now, Virginia Union playing like an Assumption. I mean, I think that's a really good matchup for VUU. JCSU also would host a game, and they would play Frostburg State as a 6, and that's also a pretty favorable game, I would say. The PSAC teams have been so all over the place. It's kind of hard to say how they'll perform in a particular game. They can be very explosive, and they can also go flat. So it's hard to really know. But I think one of the questions that people are probably going to ask is, what happens? Because one of these 2 teams is not going to win on Saturday between VUU and JCSU, right?
Right.
Will they make the playoffs? Yes, they will make the playoffs. They only have 1 loss apiece in Division II. They're going to make it. Because everybody under them is 2 losses or more. My question will be, will they host a playoff game, the loser of the championship game? Indiana has 2 losses, right? So if Indiana doesn't make it and potentially Cal doesn't make it, I don't think Frostburg's overall, they have 2 losses. Even if they win, I just don't think they're going to get a home playoff game. I still like their chances to both get a home playoff game, no matter what the outcome is. And I also think that JCSU, if they lose this game, they will have lost to the same opponent twice, and I think it's almost like a 1.5 loss instead of 2 losses in a case like that. When you play the same opponent twice in a year like that. Now, if VUU loses, I think that makes it a little bit more interesting. it nullifies the win of JCSU, and they're going to get leapfrog. But I just think that they've done enough to still have earned a home game and not have to travel, and maybe they go to a 4 or something like that. So, yeah, I like both of their chances. Fayetteville State, however, we've seen this time and time again. We've always seen as HBCU, they always end up on that last line. That line used to be 6, right? Mm-hmm. That line used to be like 10 years ago, it was only 6 teams. Somebody end up at the 6 again, bumped out. That was Winston State. Then you get to the 7 line. It was 7 teams. Who gets to the 7 line? Fort Valley State a couple years ago. Get bumped out. Well, I just feel like this year it's Fayetteville State's turn. Fayetteville State right there on the 8 line. And it's likely that they 10-game schedule get bumped out. So let's hope. But we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, well, there's a team in Super Region 2 that's looking for a game. Or are they really looking for a game? Let's go over to Super Region 2, where our friends at the SIAC are there. Obviously, Albany State. They're undefeated in Division 2 play. So even if they lose this game, they would have 1 Division 2 loss all year. So you assume that they're in. There would be an assumption. Benedict. They lost. They have 1 loss, I guess, as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
They have 1 loss as well. So you assume that even with that loss, and again, like you said, I mean, I guess it's probably like that 1.5 thing, right? Because they already lost to them once. So they lost to them. The Gulf South is no more. And a little birdie told me Gulf South folks are looking for a new home in some interesting places, but we'll get to that another day.
What? Are you dropping some nuggets, man? What's going on?
We'll get to that another day.
Spicy.
We got to give them something to watch after the championship game, right?
Fair enough. Okay.
Those who know tell, and those who don't tell maybe know. Anyway, whatever that guy said on Do the Right Thing. Whatever the mayor said, that's what he's right. All right, so and then we have Kentucky State. Kentucky State also only 1 D2 loss. They do have a loss against Grambling State, but that, as we always know, doesn't count towards this. So they are. So they are part of that experimental agreement. With the between the SIC and Conference Carolinas, and we talked about this. I heard about it at Media Day, and when I heard about it at Media Day, and they're sitting at 6 right now. So when I heard about it at Media Day, I was like, "This is a pretty interesting concept. I like it. This is we'll have to put a pin in that." Well, it's time to pull that pin up because Chris. I don't even know how this happens. I've been trying to find out. I did talk to the SIC commissioner, the Kentucky State commissioner. I have not heard from. I'm sorry, the AD I have not heard from. So apparently they made this agreement on July 15th, which, Chris, I got to go back and see when the SIC Media Day was. But I was there.
It's around that time, yeah.
Yeah, and so back in 2023. The SIC, under the guidance of Commissioner Dr. Holloway, came up with an agreement in December 2023 with Conference Carolinas, who was getting ready to get football, and it debuted this year. That the third and fourth place teams would play each other in a game, the championship week, so that they could, position themselves for playoffs. And and that was back in 2023. Now it was announced at Media Day this year. Now, but I have to guess, and I should have asked when exactly this was told to the ADs, because Apparently July. So July 15th was the day before the SIAC Media Day. I gotta think they had to know that before then. But again, you don't know, right? You don't know if you're going to be one of the teams that's going to be in this. And from what I've seen of the contract, it also says that this can be superseded by conference mandates, and that there is no financial penalty involved. So,
Right.
they are ranked above. They're ranked above Delta State, a historic power in the once plentiful, now scarce Gulf South Conference. I said it. They made an agreement, and they ended up, so anyway, they're going to be playing Shorter, who is a much weaker opponent. But for Delta State, they were up. They lost their last two games, including they were up 21-3 on Valdosta State, who we saw this year is not the same Valdosta State. I mean, they're good. They're still a solid program, but they're not the same program. They're not going to be in the playoffs. So
I don't know about that.
Oh, they are? Okay.
Well, I don't know about that. Well, because the only reason why, so technically they still have a chance. Because they beat Delta, because they beat West Alabama, they are now going up against West Florida, and if they win that game, which they're going to be a big underdog in, they will take the Gulf South auto bid. So they're not exactly out of it just yet. I mean, it will be a stunner of an upset, but hey, I mean, they've West Florida hasn't exactly laid the hammer on teams as they need to, so you never know.
They ranked like number 3 or something not too long ago, or third in the region. I don't know. Yeah, so interesting. Well, either way it goes, Delta State choked, and now they are below Kentucky State, and now they want to get out here in the media, all in the videos, talking about how Kentucky State is ducking the smoke by not coming to them, not doing a 1,000-mile round trip when they have a game literally handed to them on a platter. Chris, I don't know. To me, this is the reason why you have a conference and you have a strong conference. And unfortunately for Delta State, they don't have really a conference, even though they do.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of weird because you do have that 11th game already lined up, and you end up like just bailing like that. I mean, that just isn't like just a good practice overall. From what I remember, the contract says that, hey, like, if you have an obligation, you don't have to take the game, right? But from the way I look at it slightly different though, because you have to also think about the fact that, like, you don't have to travel and you don't have to spend the money. So let's say Delta wants some type of compensation, right? Okay, like there's money that Kentucky State didn't spend. Even if they spent it, they don't have to go anywhere. Now the flip side is that you're playing Shorter. One, Kentucky State, you better not lose this game. And number 2 is it actually weakens their strength of schedule because Shorter's only like 2-8. So I get it. I understand the logic behind it. I hardly think that these two teams will be playing each other anytime soon. Delta State says that, they're ducking the smoke, but yet it took them till late in the fourth quarter to get past Fort Valley. So, okay, this is the Delta State that if they don't hit the deep shot constantly, like their offense is not going that hard. I mean, so it's a shame in a way because we always like these games that two really good teams go at each other, but it's kind of like what you also said. Like Kentucky State holds the cards and they played them, and like I said, as long as they don't lose on Saturday, great. And it's not just Delta. It's not just Delta State crying, because the South Atlantic Conference, they're also having a fit about it too. There's some folks in the conference that feel like Kentucky State is going to steal a bid from them. And hey, I mean,
Too
in the
bad. So
end,
sad.
yeah, I mean, hey, I mean, it is what it is. If you don't like it, then you need to
Get better contracts.
no, you need to win the games that you were assigned.
Well,
That's
there's
what that
that.
is.
But also, they been asleep at the wheel. Like, I mean, because the thing about it is, Kentucky State could be in the SIC championship game if not for that 3-point win by Benedict. So, I mean, this has been a possibility. This has been a possibility for them for at least the last month, where every week that Kentucky State wins, there's more and more of a chance that they wouldn't be available to play. So then what would their excuse be? Oh, you know what I mean? It's like why would you not have a contingency plan at this point? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I agree. I totally agree. And I think that in the end it's a bit of sour grapes. You know, I agree Fayetteville State and Delta could play this week. That would be an interesting matchup.
I don't think Fayetteville wants no parts at Delta State after what happened to them when they played in the playoffs a couple years ago, though.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
They would have to come to Fayetteville for that. I would have to believe, and then maybe.
And then
I don't think Fayetteville. Yeah, so.
And I think that's the thing. Like, you know, historically, like CIAA teams, they really don't even try to get the 11th game in a situation like this. So. Yeah.
Other than Virginia State and Tuskegee that one year.
Yeah, that was fun. But it is what it is at this point. You know, Delta, I mean, Delta's in a really precarious position, because if we go back to just talk about the super regions for a second, you got North Greenville and USC Pembroke that has to play for the auto bid. North Greenville's already won this game once, so if they win again, then you know, Pembroke gets knocked to 3 losses and two against the same opponent twice. So how much do you penalize them? You also got, like we talked about Valdosta, if they somehow pull off the upset, then you know West Florida is going to make it to playoffs. It's just a matter of, are they in the 1 seed or are they somewhere else? And they're going to steal a bid. So yeah, that 8th seed is real precarious right now. And you know, even the South Atlantic, I mean, they got some teams that are right on their heels too. So if you're in Super Region 2, this is far from over. This week 11 is going to be wild. So
yeah. That part. So Chris, which conference has a better? Well, I think we know the SIC has the better chance of getting 3 teams in. Do you think there will be 3 SIC teams in this year?
Yeah, I think so. I do think so. You know, unless something goes crazy with the committee, yes, I could.
Which I think is part of why all this is blowing up too. To be honest with you, it's. You know, Football Scoop and all these other folks just miraculously aren't engaged.
Yeah, I think so. I think